We always talk about how great tarot guidebooks are and give quite a lot of our attention to tarot and their guidebooks and cards, etc. But we never return the same to oracles. So today is like a follow-on from the video I did on my favorite tarot guidebooks, and these are some of my favorite oracle guidebooks. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Hi, I'm Mand, and I cover all things tarot and oracle card related, glimmers and finding magic in the mundane. So if that is your jam, then please do hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you part of the family. And today I want to talk about a stack of oracle decks that I have right beside me here of their guidebooks, because I find that, myself included, we tend to talk about how great this tarot guidebook is and that tarot guidebook is, and yet there isn't that kind of same love for oracle decks, which is very funny because I'm a huge lover of oracle decks. It's one of my favorite form of cartomancy. I love tarot, but my first love will always be oracle. And there are some great oracle guidebooks out there, and I find that at the moment there seems to be like an influx on the love that is being shown to oracle decks, which is absolutely awesome. I'm having the best time watching it, and I promise I will get around to commenting to them all. But I want to touch upon some different. Now, I'll never be able to cover all the oracle decks that I have and the amazing guidebooks that come with it. But I know initially, especially myself, when I was taught to read oracle decks starting off, you were always told to throw away the guidebook. Now, I'm not throwing anything away, okay, right? That's being kept. While I may not use it for certain decks, I'm not throwing anything away. Maybe they were talking, metaphorically, but sometimes my brain takes it as literally throw it in the bin. I'm like, no, it's a perfectly good guidebook. Why would I do that? So I have 8 decks here that I'm going to go through relatively quick. I don't want to make it too long. I don't want to overwhelm you. Just to see the different options that you would have when getting oracle decks, and by different publishers and things. So, and how they vary, and also how the writers and the creators of these decks interpret the cards and their own knowledge and information that they put into the guidebook. So, no particular order. Let's get into it. The first one I'm going to start off with is the Witch's Way Home Oracle. It's one of the newer ones in my collection. Actually, to be honest, I think I got it at the start of the year. And this is the guidebook. Apologies, I'm just getting over a head cold. I don't think I'm fully over it. So I'm still kind of coughing. And I don't want to burst your eardrums. So these are the cards, just to quickly show you. I do believe I have a walkthrough up of this. It was definitely on a walkthrough Wednesday, for sure. Gorgeous. I love it. I really, it actually has like all the things that I'm into in this deck. But the guidebook, let's not overlook it, is absolutely fantastic. You have your different spreads in it, which if you like to explore different spreads and different ways of reading the cards, then great, it's there. Have I used it myself? No, I haven't, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I won't down the line. I suppose I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't explored that just yet. And then you have the interpretations of the cards, and I love the fact that you have like your title and your little key phrase here, and then you also have like the meaning of the cards, which kind of, I feel the more you read guidebooks, the more it like adds to your own inner knowledge. So when you start reading intuitively, you can draw on the things that you already have logged in your own brain library, right? But this one has journal prompts, and each card has a different journal prompt. So it helps you not only get to know the cards, but develop a good relationship, or just develop a relationship in general with your deck. And also I find that journal prompts can help us expand our own mind and how we see things or interpret things. So they're the different cards, just to give you an idea. So like you have the summer cards to celebrate your achievements and honor your milestones. And then you have reflect on your recent successes, the support you received, and how you can continue celebrating your achievements. Couldn't we all do that? We tend to look at the lack of sometimes instead of the successes that we've had. So that is the Witch's Way Home. Another favorite of mine is the Winter Seer Oracle by Shiloh Thompson. It is a Llewellyn. I forgot to mention A Witch's Way Home is Hay House. I have talked about the Winter Seer's Animal Oracle, I think, since I got it 2-3 years ago. I got it at the Holistic Fair, which I don't necessarily get my decks from fairs, but I don't know, there was just something about this that kept calling me back. I love the Robin card, and I was like, I have to get this. It was too cute not to, and I'm so glad I did because it is one of my favorite decks. Look, it's the donkey. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I have a lot of favorite animals in this deck. I think it's definitely one of my favorite animal decks. And this is a big guidebook. I'm not sure why it's marked at the back, but this is a big guidebook as far as like oracle decks go, because they're not necessarily this, first of all, this height and this thick either. So again, I'm trying to remember on, like, you can use the deck, drawing cards, and then you have only 3 card spread. I don't think there is any other spreads because it literally just goes into the meanings of all the cards. And you have like the big picture, it is glossy, and then you have about the badger. So you have keywords, which are great, I find are so good for them intuitive hits where you can expand on them. And then it goes into the badger as an animal, where they come from. Yeah, I do agree, badgers wouldn't be very loved here in Ireland. And then it's in a reading, so if it, you know, when you get it in a reading, what does that mean? And it goes on for, sorry about the glare, for every card. So you have your keyword, your information on the cards, so the information on the animal, I should say, where they may come from, you know, the beliefs around them, and then how does this fit in a reading? Because like, it's no good to just get, like, in folklore, bats are associated with death, sickness, magic, and witches, right? It's no good if you can't comprehend where it would fit when you're doing a reading. So this kind of helps. So this can help when you get maybe another animal deck. You don't necessarily have to use just for this one, even though it is obviously suited for this deck. But if you get an owl, it might be able to help you. So for example, we'll look for owl here. So knowledge, study, vision, secrets, time. So then you can, you know, owls can see in the dark, and as such are symbols of secret knowledge and shadow work. To embrace the spirit of the owl is to welcome the night, set aside fear, and delve deep into the unknown realm. And so you can associate that with any owl that you see. Now, if you want to take a more witchy approach, you have a Witch's Ally Oracle. And this is quite new as well. I believe I got this it was sent to me at the end of last year, I believe. Or the start of this year. I think it was the last year. What is time anymore? But these are gorgeous, might I add. These cards are, I have to say, obviously visually they're probably more prettier than my Winter Seer. But there's something about the Winter Seer Animal Oracle that just hits. I think it's because those animals I can kind of relate to because I see them here in Ireland. Whereas here I wouldn't see a vulture. Rats, yeah, spiders, honeybees, eels, yes, salmon, squirrels. Okay, what am I even on about? I feel like this is just debunked. Coyotes, for example, wouldn't see too many of those. Weasels, I'm not really 100% sure. Moles, badgers. So some snakes. Sure, St. Patrick got rid of all those. Seals, okay, we do actually have those. Right, so I have literally just debunked myself there. But there are some. No, I'm not. This isn't the deck that I'm thinking of. God dang it anyway. Okay, eagles we wouldn't see. So there are a few that I wouldn't see here in Ireland. Apologies, I do tend to get my decks mixed up sometimes. That happens. That aside, This is another, like I said, it's a Llewellyn deck. If in case I did say it or didn't, I can't remember. My brain is still trying to get over a cold. But anyway, I love the way this is like reading the oracle, meeting the animals. Okay, so then there's also like these little sigils that have been drawn for the animals, which I think is super cool. So if you're into sigil work, you can hone in on this, right? So you have your keywords, your description, and natural history. So their description on the animal or in a reading. Apologies. Maybe I should have put off doing this for another day. But look, we're here now, so let's carry on. I'm having fun talking with you. It does make me feel better, if I'm being honest, if my throat disagrees. But, and then you have the natural history as well on it. And yeah, I was like, I knew I picked this for a reason. It's not just that. You also have like a little rhyme. There we go. And you also have messages as well. So you have like short, sweet and to the point as well, in case, you know, you just want to do like a daily pull. I can't remember what I was saying because I got interrupted there. But basically that if you wanted to do, I think that's what I was trying to say, was if you were doing a one card draw, a daily card, that, you know, you have like a daily message as well. And again, you have like sigils for each of the animals. They're all completely different and they are depicted in the card as well. So you don't have to just go to the guidebook. A different kind of take, a little bit more pastel-y. I love this deck. It's the Alchemy of the Spirit Oracle by Christina Gonzalez, and it is a Page Street publishing deck. Not that I've ever heard of this, but I wanted to mention this all the same because one, I love this deck anyway. And I'm trying to think, I know I seen it on a channel and I was like, oh, that's stunning. I need it. It was literally, I need it. It wasn't because I just wanted it, I need it. And yeah, I was right. I needed it. So these are the backs. They're gorgeous. And I think I've shown this several times as well. But I love the fact that we have this little white kitten who is our little spirit guide along our journey in this. And I love the depictions in this as well. It's one of my... And you have like animals and flowers and, you know, river, you know, places, monkey, pendulum, and just different elements, right? And what I love about this guidebook is, first of all, it's written so well, but it's also broken into cards of situations, spirits, and of signs. And then you have your little introduction, and you can it'll tell you how to use it and how to draw cards and set up your space and all that. But where are my meanings? Hello. So they're not overwhelming, right? And each one only has like a page. So this one is the forest, moment of guidance. Okay, so it'll tell you, okay, so you're in a moment of guidance. Be the pupil before becoming the guide. And then it goes into the most beautiful description that I really love for especially daily cards. Like, as you encounter an enchanted forest, you start to feel the need to find guidance. So it's kind of a bit like storytelling. And then you have, it's not upright and reversal, it's in balance and out of balance. So things that, you know, are maybe coming your way or how, you know, you're in balance. But also to be mindful of trying to do everything on your own, refusing to learn, being stubborn. Why am I relating to that right now? Okay, listen, mind your business. But you get the idea, is that each card here, so the castle, moment of wholeness. You've always had the power. You just had to learn it for yourself. And, you know, it's like a little quote from Glinda from The Wizard of Oz. And then again, your beautiful description, in balance, out of balance. So celebrating your accomplishments, because you might be feeling like you're not enough. So you can tie it into how you might be currently feeling and then how you want to feel. So while oracle decks might not always necessarily follow a structure, right? And I know a lot of us, I can't speak for all of you. Obviously, I can only speak for myself. But sometimes, yes, I like a system. I like how tarot works. You know, this goes this way and whatever. But I love oracle because it allows me to just be open and interpret messages how they're coming up. So for those that might not like that kind of way, because the decks that I've shown have been very much open to your own kind of way of reading them and intuitively, I did also take in mind the deck studiers and the learners and the ones that kind of want a bit more than just fluffy. I'm not calling oracle decks fluffy anymore, because I really do feel like, yes, we need that, but they're not all necessarily like that. So the deck I did pick here for the deck studiers is just a suggestion, because it's what I have. I'm pretty sure I probably have another one that would fit this category, but is the Herbal Astrology Oracle. And the reason I picked it is, first of all, it's a gorgeous deck, right? But also because I want to learn a bit more about herbs and astrology. So I figured, heck, 2 birds, 1 stone. Have I done that? No. Do I have this deck a while? Yes. But again, listen, as we say, mind your business. It's okay. We'll get around to all of it. But it does have the planetary symbols or the astrological symbols in it. Yes, astrological symbols in it, for those of you that would like to dive further into those elements and aspects. And then also the herbs are depicted, but what I love about this as well is, for my intuitive readers, you don't have to know. You do not have to know the astrology nor the herbs. It's handy. It does add, absolutely, but it's not necessary. Also, I like what this deck is, you can kind of go with a tarot style reading as well with it. You can, not style reading, words mend, as in you can, for example, just to show, you can go with an Ace of Swords meaning for this. You know what I mean? You can draw on your knowledge of the tarot with this deck. Okay, this isn't a deck walkthrough, we're talking about the guidebook. I really think this guidebook is really good as well. Again, that made me cringe actually doing that. It's over 2 pages, but it's, you know, there's enough pages in this. I mean, it's what, 100, 200? I don't even know. 100, 200 pages. Mad. You have your Blue Lotus, Intuition. Why don't I just pick a card that's at the top here? Okay, so we have 18 is Lion's Mane, Leadership. And we can see all the different symbols and whatnot on it. So number 18. So you have the Lion's Mane, Leadership, the name for the herb, right? The actual proper name. I want to say it's in Latin, but I'm sure somebody else is going to tell me it's whatever other language. That's totally fine. My brain is just not catching up today. So we have our upright and our reverse, and then you have the astrological ruler as well. So this one is ruled by Mercury, and I never know how to pronounce this, so here, pronounce it however you wish. And so then it goes into the information of what Lion's Mane was, where it was used, and just the history on it, and then the guidance. So again, it gives you like that message for your intuitive reading or just a reading in general, but you also get the history. So again, for those of you that like to learn, it's like a beginner's starter pack for it. And sticking with kind of the ones that like to do deck studies and deep dives, and not even just deck studies, but just learning, Sacred Mothers and Goddesses. This is a Blue Angel deck. This is gorgeous. I haven't worked with this in a while, and I feel kind of bad because I used to work with it quite a lot at one point. This is really awesome. I love Blue Angel guidebooks anyway, if I'm being honest. I think they are one of my favorite guidebooks as far as oracle decks go. So these are the backs, and these are the cards. The goddesses and mothers that are depicted here are gorgeous. I really like it. I loved drawing this from when I was having like a goddess or a mother of YouTube. Whoops. For my altar was what I was trying to say. Anyway, you get the idea. That's the cards. But I really love how much information is in this. And again, you know, especially if you're doing like a weekly card, or maybe you're just working monthly with this, or whatever way you do it. Okay, maybe you don't. That's totally fine too. But the way this is depicted, I should just go with the card that's in front of me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You have the name of the goddess or the mother, Sacred Mother, and what they symbolize. And then it goes into the history of it. And then you also have her message, and then how to call on her. But also, but wait, there's more. You have activities and rituals, suggested exercise, a card spread, and creating an altar for the goddess. So each goddess gets about 4 pages. So you've Green Tara, write up on her message, how to call on her, or when to call on her, activities and rituals, an exercise, a card spread you can do if you want to connect in with her, like for a tough situation, and creating an altar for Green Tara, and the different like fruits, flowers, and herbs you can use, incense and scents, and stones and crystals. So again, for those of you that might want to create a deeper connection with a goddess, then again, the guidebook can give you a lot for a starting point, and then you can expand on it. Now, maybe you might like to take a little bit more of a poetic turn on oracle decks. Again, I'm trying to think of different ways that maybe you might like to approach guidebooks, and I wanted to include this. I'm so sorry for all the stop and starts at the moment. This is the Believe in Your Own Magic by Amanda Lovelace, and it is published by Andrews McNeil Publishing. Now, I'll be honest, it's not one that I've worked with in quite some time, but if memory serves me right, I know that Amanda has written poetry books and has also created lovely oracle deck. And is it 2 tarot or is it 2 oracle? I believe Amanda has 3 decks out anyway. I know the Cozy Witch tarot is one as well. Is it Cozy Witch? Yeah, it is. It's behind me. I have it. It is definitely one of my favorite tarot decks as well. But this deck is created from a portrait book that Amanda has. And it's really cool. I love the way it's like depiction of everyday. I love this. I love this card so much. She's so badass. Anyway, there's that. But this takes a bit more of a portrait. I'm hoping. So this is the artist, and then this is the author. And I'm trying to think there. Okay, hold on. Does it say? Damn. I was hoping it'd say. I love this. Aren't tarot cards and oracle cards evil? No. That's it. That's it. It's very funny. And then she like does questions and answers in it. And then these are broken up into sections. So there's princess, witch, and mermaids. And there's just like tiny little write-up. It is slightly poetic in its ways. So princess, you can be your own knight. You may be in a dire situation you need escaping from. Rest assured, you have the power within to persevere. You already know you don't need to be rescued by a charming prince or a chivalrous knight. I can't pronounce that, good lord. In shining armor, you've got your own shield and sword, and God's help anyone who thinks they can do a better job. And so it's a very uplifting deck. It's very short, sweet, to the point. It's a little bit storytelling and very poetic. And last but certainly not least, maybe I did leave my favourite till the end, is The Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild, and it is published by Blue Angel. This has made several appearances, I believe, on my channel. I think if you're here a long time, you'll know at this stage that you'll be quite familiar with my love of this deck. And how not only intuitively this reads, but how the guidebook really complements that intuition as well. And I love the depth and trying to find the cards that aren't going to cause a stir. But as you can see, they're very vibrant. They're very thought-provoking. There's something very dreamy about them. They're like little works of art, all contained in a deck. I love that. Anyway, I'm not talking about the cards. We're talking about guidebooks. And again, it's a Blue Angel guidebook. So you know this one's going to be good. Personally, again, this is just my opinion because I've worked with it and I love the guidebook. I mean, it doesn't even show like, and I have used this. This guidebook has been used and it's holding up. Okay, maybe the corners are a bit, that's not bad. So here we have going beyond normal. Fitting. And I love how deep and detailed and thought-provoking and eye-opening this really is. And it's not just 2 pages. I think, there's a whole write-up. It's not something that was just loosely thought upon, going beyond normal. Okay, step out of your comfort zone, don't overthink about it. You've loads of, different ideas that mightn't conform to the normal, and off you go. This is really deep. This is a lot of inner healing, okay? There can be kind of shadow aspects to it as well, but I'm not sure the word that I'm looking for, and I don't think I can articulate it very well. But this guidebook, like on the path of life, there are deciding moments where we can choose to go with the mainstream, or we can dare to take a bolder, more authentic and trusting way, even if it seems riskier or less safe. To rely solely on logic and science without incorporating the mysterious and magical is a recipe for an existence that is far too dry. And you get the idea. But you also then have like the healing process. So sometimes these cards can bring up really hard truths, and kind of certain things might be difficult to sit with, and maybe things that we refuse to acknowledge within ourselves. So there's also a healing process. So there's that like affirming to yourself, say aloud, I now call on unconditional love, and so on and so forth. And then visualization, meditation, and it's just to help ease sometimes the push and the heaviness sometimes that can come with this, but it's always from a place of best intentions. Does that make sense? Well, I haven't touched upon all the oracle deck that you could possibly cover, really, to be honest, realistically. I hope I've kind of given a wide enough variety that at least it might help some of you to pick oracle decks that kind of fit what you're going for. And if I haven't covered it, then please do let me know that maybe this is what I should have included as well. I'm learning just as much as ye are, but I like to share what I do have and what I might think that ye as the viewers might like. And it's always interesting to even learn things as I'm doing these videos as well. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, even though I am a bit run down and I'm not feeling 100%. I do appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Remember, stay magical, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.